We can use some arithmetic operators and functions also in the select statement. For example, addition, subtraction, multiplication, then integer division, and then modulo, which returns the remainder. So we can do this also. Then we have something called to the power also. So let's say I want to find out 2 to the power 3. We can use this sticker to find that out. And there are functions like getting the absolute value, or do a power calculation. For example, 2 to the power 3, then we'll mention power 2 comma 3. Find out a square root of a value, etc. And these are typically used by data analysts. These can be used maybe by machine learning engineers also, wherein they want to create a mathematical model based on the data that is there in a particular table. So if they want to create a machine learning model, and for that, let's say they have to do some pre-processing, then these mathematical functions can be used. But plus, minus, multiplication, these are used pretty often and can be used by different personas also. Let's do some very simple hands-on for these operators and functions. So I'll use the order tables to show you various mathematical functions. The first thing that I want to show you is, let's say, price of individual items. So how do I find that out? Average price of individual items for each order. Now this is the order. We have this price and then we have quantity. So the quantity is 5 and the price is 1291.33. So if you have to find the average price of individual items, we'll have to divide price by quantity, and we can do that. So this is the statement. I am selecting a subset of columns, order ID, order date, and I'm dividing price by quantity as price per item. So now if I do the output, this is the price per item. So for order number 1, if you divide 1291.33 by 5, this is the output. I know that the output is not intuitive. It should be 2 decimals. We can do that using something called cast function, which I'll show you in the next topic. But this is how you can do mathematical functions also. Let's say I want to find out the original price. This is the price and this is the discount. So I'll have to find the original price. How do I do that? So the original price would be this one minus the price multiplied by discount by 100. So this is the discount percent. So let's do that mathematical function. Again, I'll select the order ID, maybe the order date, and then I want to find out the original price. So the original price would be price minus price multiplied by discount divided by 100, right? So and I can put bracket here also. If I'm putting bracket here, I'll have to use bracket here also, and I'll use an alias here. So as original price from orders, and as you can see, this is the original price. So even though the price is shown as 1291, the original price is actually 1172.398 or 0.40, right? So this is after the discount is applied. So here the discount is not applied, but when you show the order invoice to the customer, you have to show the discounted price, which is this one. And if you are using SQL statement, you'll have to use statements like this or mathematical functions like this to find this out. All right, now few other functions, let's say absolute, and I want to find out the absolute value of this price. So what is an absolute value? So absolute value works with negative value. So let's say if I mention find out the absolute value of 100.25, then it will give me 100.25. The minus sign is not given. So that's what absolute value is. Similarly, we can, let's say, find out the square root. Here I'm not using any table because I'm just executing the function, and this is how we can execute a function also. And I want to find out the square root of 100, that is 10. And if I find the square root of 102, this is 10.099. I can also use the power function. Let's say power 2 to the power 3 should be 8 and 2 to the power 4 should be 16. So these are the various mathematical functions that you can use. Or else I can get the power like this also, which is giving me 8, and then let's say 5 should give me 32. So this is how we can use other operators as well. And these are the high level mathematical operators and functions that you might come across while using SQL statement. I'll talk about a few more important functions like case, null, and coalesce. So first of all, what is case? Case is a conditional expression. What would happen is that for each row, we will try to find out what is the value of that column. And based on a particular value, we'll provide some output. So this is the syntax of case. Case when condition, some condition, and then do something. For some other condition, do something, some other thing, etc. That's what case is. Now this will be clearer when I do some examples. Then null, what is null? You might have come across null also. Null is essentially means the absence of a value. It is not space, it is not blank. It is the absence of a value. Now there can be a lot of columns where the value is, let's say, null, because it might so happen that while inserting you have not provided any value for those columns, and those will be stored as null. Now, of course, if you show null to your end user, then it will not make any sense to them. So what you want to do is that whenever the value is null, you want to replace that value with some other string, and that's where Coalesce is used. So in Coalesce, you can mention a column name. If the value is null, then the output would be whatever you mention in the second argument of the Coalesce function. The first argument should be the column name, and the second argument should be the value that will be shown if the column is null. So again, let's do some hands-on. Let's say I have payment method discover, American Express, Visa, and MasterCard. So whenever there is Visa and MasterCard, I want to show that the payment was done by debit card, and whenever the payment method is something else, I would show credit card. So that's what I want to showcase. And of course, as you might have guessed, that it needs some conditional processing, because for each row I need to see what is the value of payment method. So for the first row, it is discover. So if it is discover, I should output credit card. For the second one, it is American Express. So as it is American Express, I want to output maybe debit card or charge card. For Visa, I want to show debit card. For MasterCard, I want to show debit card. And for anything else, we'll show credit card. So let's do that. And again, I will not select all the columns. I'll select only order ID, order price, and then the case. So after case, we'll have to mention the payment method. So because I want to execute the condition on this column, so I'll have to mention the column. And now when the value is American Express, then it should be, let's say, charge card. This will be the output. So this is the first condition. The second condition is when the value is, let's say, MasterCard, then I should show as debit card. When the value is Visa, I should show the output as debit card again. And for everything else, I want to show credit card. And I'll have to end the case statement, and then I can put an alias, let's say credit or card type. And remaining is the same from orders and limit 10. So as you can see, whenever there is anything other than American Express, debit card, and Visa, all are mentioned as credit cards. And whenever there is American Express, then it is showing as charge card. And whenever there is MasterCard and Visa, it is showing as debit card. Now, again, this might look very cumbersome, the statement. So you can break this statement in a nice way also. Let us go ahead and do that. So what we do, we run select order ID, price, and then press enter. And here we can write case, and we want to run the condition on payment method. So after that, you can mention when American Express, then output charge card. This is the first condition. When the value of payment method is MasterCard, then output debit card. When the value of payment method is Visa, then output debit card again. And for everything else, output as credit card. And I'll have to end the case statement. And I can also give it a name, as I said, credit card type. And after that, you can run from orders as usual and press enter. And it would show me the output like this. So this is the case statement that you can use. I hope you have got an idea. If you have not, then we can talk about it in the live session also, or you can ask me questions in the comments as well. The next one is Coalesce. Now let's say I add a column. I alter the table, alter table orders, add column product code as integer. So the table has been ordered now. So the table has been modified. Let's look at the output. So as you can see, the product code is actually null. So let me select a subset of the columns. So this is the output, right? So the product code is actually null. It is not showing any value. So I do not want to show this to my end users. So it should, if there is no value, if it is null, I want to show that no product has been assigned yet. So that's what I want to showcase. So I can use this coalesce function. So this is the function coalesce, open bracket and close bracket. I pass two arguments. The first one is the product code, which is actually the column name. And I'm saying that if the value is null, then show as no product. So what I'm saying here is the syntax was a little wrong. I cannot mention string value. So I'll have to mention some numerical value because the data type is integer. So as you can see, all are showing as 0 because the product code is integer. So I'm mentioning 0 here. So if it is null, then mention the value as 0. What will I do is I'll update orders and I'll tell you about the update statement later on, but just follow along. So what has happened here, for the first order, I have changed the product code to be 12. Just let me show you. See, for the first product, the product code is 12. It has changed. Now let me run the Coalesce statement again. So now except for order ID 1, the product code should be 0 for all the other rows. Because order ID 1 has a value 12 and all of them have 0. So that is the use of Coalesce. Now you can use string here if the data type of the column that you are passing in Coalesce is also string or text type. So these are some of the important functions that I have told you. Let's look at a few other functions also.